everyone, this is Mary from SVGCuts, and I'm here today with some really fun new Halloween projects. And I think the coolest part of this kit has to be this big party rosette, because you can obviously make it for Halloween, but you can also make it for any other occasion like patriotic or birthday, like pink for girls, or you get the idea, really anything. And I think it's just so festive hanging up anywhere around your house or around your party. And it is super fun with this stripe on here, or you can leave that off or whatever. And I just think it's like the nicest paper rosette that you're really gonna find is the one that you can make yourself like this. Even if you go to like a party store, the paper rosettes that they have look really festive, but they're not this nice, and you can't make it exactly how you want it yourself and everything. So I'm just really excited about the large rosette. And then of course we have our really fun Spiderweb Rosette, which is super festive and nice and dimensional. And I made mine look real elegant here with this fun ribbon and these pearls and everything, because I wanted to give it an elegant feel on this whole collection of things. But that just goes with the paper that I used. So you could of course make it look cutesy or more, just different. So it's a lot of fun. We also have a really cool little topiary here, which I'm excited about because I think it makes such a nice decoration. Even though it's paper and even though you made it yourself, it really looks like something you would buy in a little boutique store, like for a Halloween decoration. So I really think you could stick it around the house, like anywhere, and it's gonna look really, really nice and elegant and really pretty. So it's like a fun twist on a classic topiary to turn it into a witch hat. And like Bridget and Tinley on our design team, we're talking about possibly turning it into like a Christmas tree even, if you left off this brim around the bottom and made it out of Christmas paper. So we also have a really fun little bag here with these three-dimensional letters on it. And these are nice and easy to do because they all have straight edges. There's no curves to work with, so it's nice and quick, relatively speaking. And I think this would be really fun with like a handful of candy or something in there, or if you found those chocolate dipped like pretzel rods and you stuck some of them in there, I think that would be really cute. So we also have a fun gift box, and I know that Halloween's not really like a gift giving occasion, but even if you just threw like some Halloween boxers or socks or a cute little like baby onesie or something, it doesn't have to be expensive or crazy, but if you put it in a fun box like this, it's really gonna just make someone's day, and they'll say, wow, how fun, like who wouldn't love getting something special in such a special box. So we also finally have this really cool card, which I think would make an awesome invitation. You could just write the details in there, or if you're real good with your printer, you could use your printer, or even just handwrite the details, or stamp, use one of those stamps that says the party details and then you write it in, or just make a cool Halloween card, it's really easy because it's only really a couple pieces, and your machine really does all the work of cutting out the cool swirls and everything. So the paper that I used this time is by My Mind's Eye, and it's called Happy Haunting. And as soon as I saw it, I had to get it because it's just super pretty, and the glitter is so thick and so vibrant, and it's just really, really pretty. And I actually had to turn up the pressure on my cutting machine to cut through the glitter. So I turned it up a couple notches. If the glitter was real thick, I actually did, like this paper here, I did the multi-cut on my cutting machine so that it cuts it out once, it cuts it out again, to really cut through the glitter. And just another tip, if you're gluing on top of glitter, it can be kind of tough. I actually had to use a hot glue gun to put this black ring on top of the glitter paper, because regular glue does not want to stick to glitter. So this paper is really cool. It has some fun stickers, and I got the little accompanying things to go with it. But like I always say, any kind of Halloween paper that you use for your project is going to look super awesome. So I have my pieces cut out to show you how these three-dimensional items go together. So let's get started. First, let's take a look at our Spiderweb Rosette, which is only made up of 4 pieces. There's 2 like this and 2 that look like this. So these 2 are identical, as well as the 2 that look like this. So we can go ahead and glue the back part on. If you're using the back part, it's optional, you don't have to, but you want to go ahead and first of all you want to fold your pieces so that they are going in the same direction as each other. It doesn't matter if, you know, as long as it's alternating folds, like this is a mountain fold they call when it's folded up towards you, and when it's folded away from you, they call it a valley fold. So as long as it's alternating mountain, valley, that's totally fine. It doesn't matter which one you start with. And you also want to make sure that both of your pieces are folded the same way. So at this point, you also want to make sure that this one is folded the same way so that you can glue it behind your piece like this. So to do that, you want to flip it over and take a look at where it is getting glued, kind of line it up and take a look, and then you can go ahead and put your glue around where this needs to go. So once you've got those two together, you can go ahead and do the other one also. And then to put this together, all we want to do is put a nice little thin layer of glue, a nice little thin line, all the way down this skinny little tab. And it's super skinny because it has to fit behind the other, this other skinny piece right here. So you just want to do your best to line it up nice and evenly, and give it a second to dry as you hold it. And then you just want to go ahead and do the same exact thing on the opposite side. So next I want to put a line of glue down this piece and do the same thing on the opposite side, and then you'll have your Spiderweb Rosette, which you can attach any kind of ribbon to that you want. And all I did was loop it through the top here. So next for our large rosette, I've got my main pieces of it cut out here, and I just picked a real boring, like plain color. So yours is probably going to look more exciting than mine is. But again, all you want to do is make sure that they're all folded in the same direction. So as you can see, they're all going in the same direction. And one of them is a little different with these two holes on the top, and those are, as you probably guessed it, for your ribbon to hang it up with when you're all done. So to put this together, all we're going to do is glue these four together using these tabs here. So to do that, all I want to do is just carefully line it up as best I can and work my way all the way around until I've got all four pieces glued together. So as you can see, I'm just working my way around my rosette here, and I'm just doing my best to line it up nice and straight and giving it, this last one here, I'm going to give it a moment to dry before I close up the final seam, because if I move on too quickly after this part is dry here, my glue will probably not have had enough time to dry. So we want to give it a little extra time right here. And then to close it up, I'm going to accordion fold it around a little bit so that I can get enough room here to work with it. So I've got my final tab exposed here, and I did a little bit of crunching it together so that I can get my glue in there and get my piece where it needs to go. And if the middle is a little bit open or not lined up perfectly, don't sweat it, because we're going to cover that up anyway in the middle there. So I want to make sure this is sort of dry here before I start to shape it into place better. So now I'm just kind of evening everything out and squeezing it together, because the next thing I'm going to do is flip it over, and I'm going to glue this large circle onto the back with hot glue. So I have everything spread out and it's pretty even. It doesn't have to be scientifically perfect. It looks pretty decent to me. So I'm going to flip it over and take a look at the back. I'm going to take my hot glue gun, which is actually not plugged in right now, it's not hot. But what you want to do is make sure you have a whole entire full stick of glue and just really just keep like pumping it and spiraling it all the way around and really load it up with a bunch of glue. And don't be shy, don't be stingy, get that glue on there. And then you can take your large circle and press it on for a couple seconds and then quickly flip it over so that it can lay flat and all that glue can be pulled down by gravity and really get up in there and get everything all glued together. So then at this point you can take your hot glue also and put a bunch on the back of this middle piece and put that into place. And you're going to want to press it and hold it a little bit as it's drying. So the next thing you can do, if you want to use this top piece here, this black, or whatever color you're using, you can go ahead and put that on. And as you can see, my circle's on the back. It's not even perfectly centered, but it's close enough. And then you can put your ribbon through those top holes. Next, for our Catacomb gift box, I've got my lid pieces here. And the lid is pretty much the same as the bottom. The bottom's a little simpler. So right now I'm only going to show you the lid. And we've got these two longer side pieces here with a hole cut out. And we've also got these two shorter pieces. And this paper is so cute. It's a Martha Stewart paper and these cats are fuzzy. I just love it. And then we've got the lid, the top of the lid, and then the liner of the lid, which is going to go on at the end. So what we want to do here is first we want to glue all four sides together, side by side, side to side. And we just want to make sure we're going short, long, which is what I'm doing here. And I've never had to glue on top of this fuzzy flocked type of paper, so let's hope that it holds together for the purposes of this video. And if not, it's not the end of the world. I guess I learned if it doesn't want to hold. So I've got my third piece in place here, and I'll just go ahead and get my final fourth side in place. And I want to give it a moment to dry before I start moving it around too much, or else it's going to come apart. And then the next thing I want to do is close it up by putting some glue on this final side tab here. And there's the sides of our box. So here are my four sides all together, and my top is going to go right on top like that. But first, let's flip our box on its side, and we want to fold these reinforcing large tabs over and in half. So all I'm doing is just putting glue on these large bottom tabs, and then I'm folding them over. And as you can see, the circle is now a half circle here. It's a good place for your thumb to go when you're trying to open your box. So let's say that I did all four of those sides. The next thing I want to do is just put glue on all four of these tabs, being sure to go all the way out to those little corners, and then I want to put my lid right into place. It looks super cute. Then once everything is pretty much dry, we can go ahead and glue this liner down on the inside to finish it off and strengthen it up a little bit. So next, for our Eek bag, our tall bag, I've got my pieces cut out here. It's just 2 large pieces and then the bottom. So we're just going to glue this this long side tab to the other piece. And this paper that I have here is so perfect for this nice tall bag with these nice tall trees on it. It's super cool. And again, this is from that that Martha Stewart Animal Masquerade paper pack that I used last week, or last Halloween kit. I had it laying around, so I said, hey, that would look super cool on this bag. So, as you can see, this is super simple, and I'm just gluing these long side tabs into place. And since this is just a straight rectangular shape, I can fold it flat like that. So now all I want to do is put glue on all 4 of these tabs, making sure my glue goes all the way out to the corners, and put my bottom into place. And then as far as the handles go, all I did was just loop some ribbon here and just tie it in a cute little double knot. So let's take a look at these letters. I only cut out one of the E's because the K is very similar, just you know, slightly different. So here is my E, and as you can see, it gets shaped into almost an E here. So you just want to fold your piece until it is going in the right direction, like I've got mine here, and then we'll glue this together to form a loop. Then I think the next easiest thing to do is to start with the front of your letter, because you have more control over making it look as nice as possible. And I think it's easiest to start by gluing this long side into place. And that sort of sets the stage for the rest of the tabs to go in the right spots. So what I'm going to do is put glue on maybe about half of these tabs, and then I'm just going to work my way around my shape, just one at a time, and I'm going to take my time and let each little piece get a chance to take hold and dry a little bit as I'm working my way around. And then when I get to this area with no glue in it yet, I can go ahead and finish putting glue on the rest of these little tabs. Even if the glue doesn't go all the way down the whole entire tab, it's close enough as long as it holds together. And I'm rushing a little bit here, so my E is, it's actually not too bad, but you can totally take your time a little bit more than I am right now. So then all you want to do is flip that over, put glue on all these tabs, and obviously put the back of your letter in place. And you can adjust it as it's kind of drying, and then if you've got any pieces that are sticking out a little bit, you can always take some little scissors and trim those up a little bit. And as you can see, these nice panels go on the front if you want, and I think it's kind of cute if you make them uneven and kind of wacky. So finally, for our Witch Hat Topiary, I have my hat here, which is almost just all one piece because we've got the main part of the hat and then these 2 bottom pieces. So to put that together, I've got this long side tab that's like a really long triangle, and I just want to put glue on that whole thing and loop it around into place. And you can just do your best to line it up as perfectly as possible. And if it's not completely perfect, nobody's even going to notice. It's going to be super cute. So that is that, and then we can flip this over and put glue on all 8 of these tabs. And you want to do your best to go all the way out to those little corners without getting too much glue sticking out. Especially when you're working with black paper, you can really see that glue, even though it dries clear, but you can still see the glue. So whenever I'm working with black paper, I try extra hard to be really careful with my glue. So I've got this bottom piece in place here, and now I can go ahead and put the brim of my hat on by putting glue all over this piece, all the way out to the corners. And then I can line up these 2 holes. And there's my cute little hat. So in your PDF download, it tells you that the dowel that you want to use is 7/16 inch. And I forget right now how tall you want to cut it. You can kind of eyeball it. It says in your PDF how long to cut it. I got this at Michael's, and I've seen them at Joann's too. So you can go ahead and paint that whatever color you want. Mine is black in my project. And then we can go ahead and take a look at the pot that it sits in. So I've got these 2 pieces here, which are the liners, which add some strength and help make it a nice round shape. And we've got the pot itself here, which is really just 2 pieces. So it's going to go like this, and there's 3 little score lines here, which you don't want to fold those. You just want to use them as a reference point for where to put your glue and where you want to line up the edge of the other side. Because otherwise you'd be kind of guessing and it might not work out as well as it does now, because I can see exactly where that needs to go. So you want to make sure that your piece here is nice and round, and you really want to like squeeze that glue so that it doesn't wrinkle up and so that you don't see the lines of the glue. Because if I don't give it a good squeeze, we're going to see all kinds of like veiny lines all over the pot. Which it's probably a good idea to use a patterned paper like this, and then if there are any little blemishes or whatever, you're not really going to see them like you would on this plain paper that I've chosen right now. So then what we want to do is flip it over and push all those little tabs over, and then get your glue on all of these little tabs. I think just one dot is good enough. You don't have to be too scientific about it. And now we can just put our bottom into place. So I think it's easiest if you kind of start on one side and just kind of adjust it around as it's drying. And just do your best to line it up as best you can. And when you're all done, if you want, you can take a little piece of sandpaper and sand the edges off a little bit to make it nice and smooth if you've got some spots that are not so perfect. So now I'm going to flip it over and push down from the inside. And I can put some glue on my little liner piece here, which will just strengthen up the bottom. And then for this piece, believe it or not, I actually did not glue it down. I just put it inside there, and it finishes off the edge. You can glue it if you want, but I think it's perfectly fine to just stick it in there, push it down. It helps round it out a little bit. If you want to line up this seam maybe on the opposite side over here, that's a good idea. Then all that's left to do is take a little piece of florist foam that will maybe go up to about here or so, and just jam it on in there, and then take your black painted dowel and carefully push it down through the middle. If you want to make yours more bottom heavy, something that I did was I took a handful of these little pebbles, which I actually bought at Michael's. I'm sure you could probably go outside and find some and wash them off or whatever, or use whatever you feel like, but I put a little layer in the bottom, then my florist foam, then my dowel, and then of course through my hat, and I just pushed it all the way up to the top, and it stays nice and centered. Then if you want to finish it off with some fun little shredded paper, which I also bought at Michael's, you can, and a cute little bow looks nice also. So there you have it, super fun Halloween projects. I hope you have a lot of fun making them, and if you do, you'll have to share a picture on our Facebook wall or in our forum or on your blog or Pinterest or Instagram, Twitter, you name it. There's so many places to share pictures of your awesome projects, and we always love seeing them, and so do the rest of our fans. So if you've also voted for us in the Martha Stewart American Made contest, thank you so much. We couldn't do this without you guys, and we couldn't do any of this without you. So thank you so much, and if you still want to vote, there's 2 more days left, and you can go to votesvgcuts.com to cast your vote. So thanks again, and I'll catch you next time, and happy crafting!
Learn more by visiting www.svgcuts.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and watch all of our crafty videos on YouTube. It's a world of crafty content with you in the middle. SVGCuts.com, inspiring you to live creatively and beautifully.